We've got one more thing we'd like to do, and this is the whole thing about this one hangs on. It's a very quiet song, this one, so it'd be nice if everybody can either sing along or just listen. It's very Darryl, the music, please. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
The Movieland Wax Museum. Although it's 40 miles from Hollywood, the museum is as much a part of that fabled city's heritage as the memories that are evoked here. Jeanette MacDonald, Maurice Chevalier in The Merry Widow. They sure don't make them like that anymore. Old movies are like old songs. They remind you of a time that was, of who you were with, and where you were when you first saw one of your favorite movies. In a way, old movies are old friends. You're always glad to see them again, even if just for a few moments. And here at the Movieland Wax Museum, they're all around us. Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy.
Now we've got to go all the way back to that market and get a steak, thanks to your stupidity.
Well, we haven't got any money left. We spent everything that...
Well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
There are over 200 wax figures on display at the museum. Among them, Mae West.
I'm always wonderful at night.
Yes, but tonight you were especially good.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
W.C. Fields.
Say, what's that dog doing in here?
Oh, the other day, a man was in here, and I was shaving him. The razor slipped, and I cut his ear off. The dog got it. Ever since, he's been hanging around here for... Go away, go away, go away.
And of course, these old friends.
I'm afraid there's no denying I'm just a dandelion, a fate I don't deserve. I'd be brave as a blizzard.
I'd be gentle as a lizard.
I'd be clever as a gizzard.
If the wizard is a wizard who will serve,
Then I'm sure to get a brain,
A heart.
a home.
The knife.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Jack Haley, the Tin Woodman, Ray Bolger, the Scarecrow, Bert Lahr, the Cowardly Lion, and of course, Judy Garland as Dorothy. The stars of one of the best-loved and most popular movies ever made, The Wizard of Oz. Yet it's a wonder the film was ever made at all. There were 10 writers, 4 directors, and one of the stars had to be replaced after they had already begun shooting. 1938. The Wizard of Oz had just started rehearsals, but the MGM publicity department was wasting no time. They released this trailer promoting the film and gave us a rare glimpse at the actor who was to play the Tin Woodsman.
Here's the Wizard of Oz set. And who is this? Ray Bolger, who will play the Straw Man. Bert Lahr, who is to be the Cowardly Lion. And Buddy Ebsen, the Tin Man.
For Buddy Ebsen, 4 weeks of rehearsal and 2 weeks of shooting were nearly fatal. He was hospitalized by a severe allergic reaction to the aluminum dust in his makeup. To replace him, the studio cast another song and dance man, Jack Haley, seen here in these remarkable home movies of Harold Arlen, the composer of the film's music. Despite modifications in the makeup, however, Haley suffered a dangerous infection that almost cost him his sight. Injuries and illnesses seemed to be as numerous as changes in the cast. Surprisingly, Ray Bolger was originally signed as the Tin Woodsman. He had to plead with studio executives to switch him to the role of the Scarecrow. The first choice for the Wicked Witch of the West was the glamorous Gail Sondergaard, not character actress Margaret Hamilton. For Hamilton, however, the role was almost a personal disaster. Her green makeup was toxic, and if it hadn't been removed immediately after she'd been badly burned during a stunt, she could have been disfigured for life. Even 16-year-old Judy Garland was not the studio's first choice to play Dorothy Gale of Kansas. The role that would make Judy a star was originally intended for another young leading lady, Shirley Temple. Bert Lahr was everyone's first choice to play the Cowardly Lion, but to him, wearing the 70-pound costume was like walking around inside a mattress. When Lahr, Haley, and Bolger tried to have lunch in the studio commissary, with bits of makeup still sticking to their faces, they looked so disgusting they were asked to leave. From then on, their meals would be served in their dressing rooms. For Bert Lahr and nearly 600 other actors, including over 100 munchkins, the movie was a 6-month ordeal. For MGM, it was a losing proposition. In its first year of release, it fell short by $1 million of recouping its cost. The Wizard of Oz didn't return a profit until 20 years later, after being sold to television. Believe it or not, this Oscar-winning song was cut from the film after the first preview. It slowed down the picture, some executives said, and it was considered unseemly for an MGM star to sing in a barnyard. But good sense finally prevailed, and the number was restored. One number was cut from the film permanently. It occurred just after this scene as Dorothy and her companions enter the haunted forest. 5 weeks were spent shooting the sequence, yet it was sacrificed to shorten the picture. The original footage has long since disappeared. Only the soundtrack remains. However, thanks to Harold Arlen's behind-the-scenes home movies, you are about to see a reconstruction of that number for the very first time. It was called the Jitterbug.
It's a Who's-es.
It's a who's-es? It's a what's-es.
It's the Wattses.
Who's that? Who's there?
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that hiding in the treetops? It's that rascal, the Jitterbug. Should you catch him buzzing around you, keep away from the Jitterbug. Oh, the bats and the bees and the breeze in the trees have a terrible, horrible buzz. But the bats and the bees and the breeze in the trees couldn't do what the Jitterbug does. So be careful of that rascal. Keep away from
The Jitterbug.
If you ever wondered how the trees of the haunted forest came to life, now you know.
So be careful of that rascal. Keep away from
The Jitterbug.
The Jitterbug, the missing number from The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz remains as fresh, as entrancing, as wonderfully sentimental, and as appealing as when it was first shown over 40 years ago. And of all the music and the lyrics and the lines spoken in the film, the one that remains the most memorable is also the simplest. There's no place like home. Right, Toto? Believe it or not.